Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social. We've stacked out the panel. Look at this, we've got a full 6. Oh, Todd, you putting us. At least we made an effort, Todd, didn't we, with our Christmas casual cabaret. Is it the Christmas musical, Christmas pageant?
Oh,
To save the family bakery. I've gone all horse again. Todd, kick us off with the wristwatch check.
All right, so it's one that I'm not talking about today, but it's kind of a Christmas color. This is I'm on my phone today because the website did not want to work on my. Let's see if I can get this glare out. Okay. There we go. So it's a 6139, so it's part of the 6931 family. This is a 7060 with a turquoise metallic green dial, which is really pretty cool from the late 70s. Okay. That's been restored and is one of actually my acquisitions this year, but I'm going to talk about different ones.
Awesome. Cool. Colby, you're up next. What are you wearing?
Yeah, I have my, which way is the right side up? My Accutron Space View 2020.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. Love this watch. Also one of my top acquisitions from the year. Love the electrostatic movement. Love everything about it.
Awesome.
Well, is that the this year's version, Colby, or the original?
No, this is the 2020. Yeah.
The limited one.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Dave, what are you wearing?
Use the right camera, David. It would help, wouldn't it? I am wearing. Where is it? There it is. My Girard Perregaux Laureato Absolute. This is the titanium This is the titanium dive one.
Ooh.
So yeah, Fume dial, pretty cool. I've actually been wearing it quite a lot recently. Nice piece, bit chunkier than the classic Laureato, but in grade 5 titanium, pretty comfy to wear. And it's got these straps a bit like Rolex. It's got the metal titanium through it, so it kind of it's got the flexation in it. Like it actually works quite. I'm not moving a bit.
It's partially a metal strap then.
Yeah, it's about the same as like that kind of thing that Rolex do. I can't remember what they call it, but it's like
Oyster Flex.
It's a bit like that. Same idea. So it holds a bit of structure and shape to it, but yeah, it works quite nicely. So and it's got the Dexel produced clasp, so it's got the micro adjust little clasp in it as well. So yeah, it's quite cool.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
And like you, Colby, I've got one as well.
Nice.
It's not focusing. Focus there. Yeah, I think that's the one that they brought out. This is the Space View 2020, but I think it was a limited edition, the first one they brought out that came with the book.
Okay. That's nice.
It's called, it's Aceline. So what does it say in the back? It says Aceline limited edition 200 piece. But I think it's basically the same watch as yours, to be honest.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a cool piece. So really cool piece.
So, so chat saying, Von Krull saying 3 great watches so far. So, Mark, all downhill from now.
Oh, thanks.
Pressure. Oh, there we go.
If we can see it, that is.
Downhill we go.
Le Bon's,
it's a yield sign.
It's a Le Bon Caesar piece unique. So the proper one has Roman numerals, and I'm sure you're all aware of my aversion to that. And this one has a prototype loom dial.
Nice. Cool. Okay. And this is also showing how old Mark is because it's before watches went round. So it's like the pre-wheel invention that Mark still has a square watch.
A square watch in a round hole.
And then, of course, I had to mount it in the rhomboid fashion as well. So,
Patrick, long time, welcome back.
Hey,
what are you wearing?
I just feel better because when I say that I love the Krator locomotive, Mark can't say anything against me because that's got even bigger like Van Damme lugs than that. But today I'm rocking one of my discus burgers because I got a new strap for it, which makes me actually like the watch again. So super fun.
Looks cool.
Yeah. And I'm reading this comment out, and I'm only doing it because he's a channel member, but James Blonde is saying, wow, that's really ugly. I think that's the
It's one of those watches. It's one of those watches that 99% of the people dislike, and the 1% that like it really like it. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's good. And then let me take mine off. I am wearing a recent one that's been very kindly sent in for review by Vin Zianico. This is their new titanium watch with a beautiful Sumo dial. This is going to be the 27th of December, so there'll be a review.
Your mic's gone a bit crazy, Sam.
Oh no, sorry.
That's better.
Yeah, your mic just didn't like the watch.
Oh no. Okay, so this is the Venziana coat. It's coming out on the 27th. I'll do a review before then. But weird. Yeah, sorry if my mic does go weird. Let me know. Maybe just check it's all plugged in. Okay, so we're doing a Morgan. We're doing a top 10 list, but there's more than 10. There's like 30 of them, but I'm trying to please the YouTube algorithm. So we're doing some watches that we bought. So the only rules here is we have to have touched them or bought them or owned them to give you our view on our favorite picks for this year. I apologize in advance. We've got loads, so I might not get to all of your comments. So I apologize in advance here. But we'll get cracking with it. So first up, Dave, this is one of yours. Oh, beautiful.
I love these Tibets, to be honest. This is the one they released, I think, a couple of months ago, around about October, November time. They announced it. This is what they say is the final Casquette 2 model that they're going to do. They did, obviously, the full black ceramic one with titanium pushers a few years ago now. I think that must have been around about 2020, 2021, something like that. And they made 888. Was it 888? Something like that. And then they've done a couple of collab ones, I think, over the last few years, usually with Yves Saint Laurent. And then this is the final one. So this is all in grade 5 titanium bracelet with yellow gold pushers and logo on it. It's a quartz watch, nothing fancy, but they are just so comfortable to wear. They're very close to the originals. In fact, so close that you can take the module from the original ones and fit it into this and vice versa. So actually, it's pretty nicely done. Super easy to wear. Completely useless on the basis that it's a driver's watch that you have to take both hands off the steering wheel to press the buttons to read the time, at which point you plow into something. And when it gets more than bright outside, which is basically Scotland's fine, anywhere else in the world, as soon as you press the button, you still can't read it either. But it's absolutely glorious to wear. So that's all that really matters.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Was that designed in the Italian part of Switzerland? Because it's got that Italian design flair.
Because
it looks great.
It's amazingly comfortable as well to wear. As I say, completely unpractical. And I think they're in the UK, they're just over 4,000. So I think it's like 4,200, which is, well, one way you can look at it is it's an awful lot of money for a digital watch. The other way to look at it is, well, it's a very cheap Girard-Perregaux. So you can look at it one of two ways. But yeah, my one has arrived. I just haven't actually time to go and get it yet.
Cool.
I was very
cool.
surprised by the price. The price is good.
Yeah, and I actually got the ceramic one from your side of the pond because I missed them in the UK because I completely forgot about them, and then randomly got a call from a rather nice family-owned jewelers in the US that said, "Oh, we heard you wanted one of these, and we've got one. Would you like it?" And they even did me a deal on it and sent it over so that I didn't need to deal with the VAT. So that was very nice of them.
Oh, very good. So next up, we're going to go to Mark. Before I were to say that, we've got Russell, Mad Watch Collector, in the house. Thanks for joining us, Russell. Yay. Mark, Omega. It's a complete surprise.
This is a dislike?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was on the dislike list.
Okay. We'll then start us off on the naughty list. Then.
Naughty.
And I do have one of these. I just don't have it in the house at the moment. This is the Omega Super Racing with the Spirate movement. It looks great, but when you wear it, you realize a couple of things that mean it hasn't quite gelled with me. It looks like, it's heavily loomed, but not even using an arc light can get that loom to glow. It's not as legible as you'd think, and it just has never actually grown on me in the time that I've had it. The chronograph second hand is about as wide as the minute hand, so if you can lose the minute hand, it just has failed to gel. It's a real shame at this one, and I do like an Omega chronograph, this Omega chronograph just hasn't actually gelled with me. It's a shame.
And you waited? Did you wait 2 years for this? Is this the one you waited
14 or 15 months.
Wow, wow.
And they're a rarity, but if you look on Chrono 24, there's a surprising number of them.
Oh, really? So,
There's a surprising number of them.
Do we know if
it's
that
a watch
spy
that-
rate? Oh, good.
So on you go, Colby.
Oh, I was just going to say, do we know if that spy rate movement is going into other Omega watches? Because they kind of made a big deal about it, and then I think that's the only watch it's in, right?
Dave, I'm sure knows more than he's saying, but I gather that Omega are finding it a bit difficult to industrialize. So
That would be correct.
among other things.
It's actually a really nice solution, but it is horrible to industrialize it. And also, at the moment, if you want it adjusted, it has to go back to Beal, which when you are a volume producer of watches, because let's be honest, as much as Omega is a luxury watch company, they are in the volume game. That's not a good idea when you're an industrial watchmaker. If you're a haute horology manufacturer, then fine, maybe. But you know, it's kind of failed to meet expectations. It's perfect on paper, is slightly less perfect in reality. Cool. But it's a cool looking watch, but it's too big as well. And Mark, you like a big watch, so do I, but it is too big.
I mean,
it's just not right.
That honeycomb dial is absolutely perfect, but
It's
just
amazing.
can't make up for me not gelling with the rest of the watch. And I'm not a big fan of this generation of Speedmaster bracelet. It's comfortable, but if you fiddle with it, you realize that some of the criticisms weren't so far from the truth. But it's comfortable to wear. It's just if you're inveterate watch fondler, you realize that some of the criticisms of the bracelet weren't wrong.
we won't put that on a merch T-shirt.
Or inveterate watch fondler.
Okay, so next up, hopefully this isn't on the naughty list, Patrick. I'll be very upset.
It's not. I mean, you can't have a live stream without at least one mention of the Crown brand. And my AD doesn't even have one for you to try on, but I was out traveling this year and I went into an AD that did. So I finally got to put it on the wrist. And even though it's ungodly and unreasonably priced, and the salesperson was telling me how wild and different and crazy their RLX titanium is, and that's why it costs so much, it is insanely comfortable on the wrist, and I kind of love it. So it's on the good guy list. I put my name down for one. That's just comical. I mean, that won't happen. And but it surprised me how much I liked it. It's still a little too big. It's 42. If it was 40 or 41, it would wear a little bit better. But the proportions and the weight balance, and even it just feeling a little bit light on the wrist, super comfortable, beautiful, well done, Rolex.
It's not that outrageous though, is it? Is it 14 grand or something? I mean, that's a lot.
It's closer to 15. So,
but I mean, in comparison to other watches, I don't think that's.
I think it's taken the proverbial, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, 15 at the end of the day, it's a grade 5 titanium watch that tells the time and's got the date on it. Okay, you pay a bit of Rolex tax on it. It's 15k. It's punchy for what it is. I mean,
I was gonna say that was me. I'm sitting next to it, and what do they have next to the Rolex counter? A Citizen counter. And I look at her, I'm like, that Citizen titanium is like $1,000. Like,
I mean, see, it was never going to be less than 10. But if it was 10 to 12, that was where you would expect it to be. But 15 is just a bit punchy.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm perfectly fine. I just don't like being lied to. I mean, if Rolex just says, hey, we're Rolex, we're charging that much, I will respect you more. But when the salesperson is telling me how it's meticulously made and it's got this great new material, I mean, my face is just like this. And which is more reason why I will never get one, because she probably thinks I'm a butthead.
well, moving swiftly on. Seiko Todd, not a Seiko.
Not a Seiko.
And not the tag either on the list.
Yeah, so I have it here. This is my.
It's on the nice list. It's on the
It's on the
nice.
nice list. So I got this. The only thing that turned me off. So I've seen these in the flesh, and then I talked to my buddy Dean Bump in Little Switzerland in St. Thomas, and he gives me a rundown of some of the things that they have on sale. And I got this for half price. No tax, no VAT, just ship free to my door.
Wow.
And it made it a done deal. When that was done, it was a done deal. And this watch it's a beast. It's a little bit of I like a big watch too. And it fits my wrist fine. It's about as big as I'd like to go. But for a chronograph, you can, get away with some. But if you look at the backside of it, the movement, it's a Hero 02 movement. Column wheel, it's a red column wheel. Screws are blued. And the amount of like guilloche and other things, not guilloche, it's the Damascus of the plates. It's just a fantastic looking movement too. And it's a beast. A flyback chronograph for $3,200 and change, brand new.
Awesome.
And the only problem is it's got that proprietary tag strap thing where it's like a fixed bar that the strap attaches to. And it's
like
not,
a Garmin.
yeah, or like a Pelagos, right, or Pelagos, depending on how you pronounce it. In some ways, so you have to use. So I've ordered from Man Cave Lever. I've ordered a brown single pass NATO. I'm going to see how it fits on that. It's probably going to sit up too high, but I'm going to give it a whirl.
You should buy a strap
Have a
for
look.
Garmin.
I was going to say also have a look closely because I think you'll find those bars can be removed.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I think it is.
I can look right now.
It is an oversized, chunky spring bar. I think you can remove them. I think at one side there's a little sleeve collet on it.
Oh, there is. There is a little bit of a sleeve. It doesn't have the knurling normally that you use
like
to grab.
Seiko bars.
Yeah, you can't take them off. They're not like permanently welded on. You can remove them and you can put a normal spring bar in.
Okay.
That is a chunky spring bar, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, remember it's got that big monster strap. It has to have something strong to clip onto it, and be aware the springs in them it'll put you into orbit if you let it go.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it will. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah,
awesome.
love it. It's a fantastic watch. Really, really. I'm really, really psyched with it. It's the only new tag. I have some vintage Hoyer, but it's the only new tag I've bought, and I'm really impressed with what they've done.
Cool.
Okay, you can see that brands lifted themselves out of where they were for the last 10 years. They're moving into the space that was previously occupied by Omega and a few other people. They're in that 5,000 to 8,000 category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And their boutiques are starting to get really good. They've got, at least the one that's local to me, has got excellent staff who know the product,
right?
Know customer service, know how to sell. So they're lifting the whole of the organization, I think.
Yeah, that one that we went to, Sam and I, Sam, who comes in the chat, we went to that one in Manchester and they were great. They sat us down. It was busy in there, but they spent time. They took everything out the case and showed us. Okay, we've got through one pick each. No, we haven't even got through one pick each. And we're like 20 minutes now. So we're going to Colby. You'll have to point out whether this is on the naughty or nice list.
Oh, this is on the nice list. This is my favorite watch of all time. It's weird. I got into watches in 2020. IWC wasn't even on my radar until this year, 2024. I have some things to say about their marketing, but this watch, I think you could argue, is one of the best watches, value for money in the business. It is a great movement when they went from the Mark 18 to the Mark 20. Valflorier makes the movement with the 120-hour power reserve. It's only 10.8 millimeters thick. And my favorite part of all is the bracelet. Love the ease exchange system. I love that micro adjust clasp. It's the same one that Geo uses. I just think it's for me the perfect watch. It's kind of my boring watch, and it's a watch I'll never sell. I proposed to my girlfriend in the watch, and I got married in the watch. So now it's mine for life. But I really love it.
Awesome.
Sam sells the watch he gets married in, so just let you know.
Yeah, the watch I got married, I proposed and I sold it. Yeah.
But he still has a wife, so that's important.
I still has the wife. That's what I say to people when they comment, "Oh, you sold your wedding watch." I'm like, "Yeah, but I've still got my wife." Like that was the takeaway from the experience. And it's okay. Well, great. So great pick there. And then mine is. Oh no, hang on. Okay, actually, I'll just do my tag. So this was the watch that I was really impressed with this year when I saw it in person, and also I think they finally got the design for what I like of the Aqua Racer kind of dialed in. I think the last iteration, the hands were a little bit too military-ish, whereas this one, I like the hands. I like the fact that it looks like it's the little Tag Heuer logo cut out there. I love the website that it locates to your home time zone. But yeah, this is probably, if I'm going to buy a luxury watch next year, it might be this. Although I do have that Bremont, which is, is also a diver. But yeah, I really, really like this when I saw it in person. So that's my pick. Okay, we're back round to Dave. This one.
Oh,
These guys have really picked up the ball this year and run with it. So this brand, Awake, not super new. They're kind of, are they a micro brand? There's probably slightly more than a micro brand. They're like a kind of small boutique brand, I would say. But they have done watches for a few years, and they decided to take a kind of change in direction over the last year or so. But they managed to take along their existing clients with them. So it's a very different looking watch range to what they had before. The case is absolutely amazing. You could maybe just see it in that image. You've got this kind of little bump just before the lugs start to run out on the case. You can see it in the top and the bottom. If you run your finger, it's not a smooth shape. It's got this kind of little concave area just in it on the fingers. What they've done as well is the dials, they use this Son Mai. It's a kind of Vietnamese traditional, it's not lacquering, but it's like using pigments and then I think it's silver leaf to kind of make up these dials. So it's like a more sensibly priced version of, say, something like Grand Fu enamel, and you've got some amazingly bright colours on it. So this watch is coming in about €2,000. You've got some really punchy colours, and what they've done with the markers is they're mono blocks of lume with the metal applique applied on top of it. So that actually it's almost the inverse. So there's a picture of it at night in there somewhere, and you'll see
cool.
it. It kind of
we
looks like
saw
they're
it,
hologram, and the hands are the same. They're blocks of lume with the metal on top of them. They are genuinely, it uses a Lajoie Perret G100 movement in it, coming in at, what's that? Yeah, 1950 euros with tax. It's about 2,400, something like that. Really nicely made case, quite slim, nice colors, nice straps. The guys that run the company are actually just two really nice down to earth guys as well. I just think these are absolutely awesomely nice for the money.
Cool, great pick. So that was on the nice list. Okay, we are back round to Mark. Have I got to doing your naughty picks first?
You are doing my naughty list, yes.
This one this is a little tear because I love this watch.
Now I like an Omega chronograph. I think I said that before. I had the opportunity to play with one of these in a boutique this year, and I had the choice between this and the Ploprof, and this in real life, again, didn't sing to me at all. They did a great job of doing the photographs and the renders, and in real life, it's nothing like as impressive. Sorry, Sam. It just didn't sing to me, and there you go.
This is. I would say this is one of the best Omegas that I ever reviewed on the channel. I got a chance to look at a pre-owned one from Bob's Watches, and I still, out of all the reviews I've done, this is the one I still think about. Is the review. There
are still some in the boutique system if you're willing to make inquiries, but they're $17,500 too. When I first thought about it 5 years ago or whenever, it was considerably less.
Yes, I think this one was like 10. It was less than 10,000. I think when the pre-owned one that Bob's Watches had. Yeah, that was wild. I'm just going to throw this out there now. If we don't get to all of our picks, we're doing a bumper show next week. We're doing our Christmas Tea and Tickers marathon show that we've done the last couple of years. So we'll probably might bump some of these picks to then. But next up, Patrick, another bit of a controversial one, but I presume is this on the naughty or nice list?
Man, I think all of my boring picks are at the beginning. Man, we won't even get to my fun ones. But just once again, it was just something I tried on, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with. The kind of like Colby, IWC. They've always been the brand that I've just sort of ignored. Their their offerings just don't say, "Ooh, come look at me." And I never really cared for the original Ingenieur too much. I don't even think I really care for the current one that much. It's just a really comfortable, really nice looking watch on the wrist. Would I buy it for its pretty high price tag? Probably not, because it's missing some things. Like if they made it a new version where they got rid of the Faraday cage and they actually put a silicon escapement in and gave it a display back, I mean, make me actually see what I'm buying. I would be more interested in the old school tech that it has. But once again, just to go back to the positive, it looks great on the wrist. It feels fantastic and it feels quality. So I was pleasantly surprised with this one when I tried it on this year.
Robert Coleman's asking, is this the Genta design one? Is it, or did they just take the style?
No,
It is. They modified it. The original version doesn't have crown guards. They changed the bracelet a little bit. They made sure that the actual bezel markers are lined up, where before they were functional and they weren't lined up. So they could be random. Your little pip at the top could be over at 1 o'clock, and some people that really annoyed the hell out of them because it's asymmetric. But it's definitely heavily Genta inspired, but modified.
And what's the damage on it? People are asking.
It's like 15,000.
Yeah, there's two versions. There's a steel version and a titanium version. Interestingly, though, certainly in the UK, they launched the new steel with the blue dial, and all of them came down on price this month.
Oh,
So
wow.
actually, it came down not by a lot, by I think it was 3%, something like that. But there's a few brands, interestingly, especially big group-owned brands, who over the last month have stealthily decreased prices but not shouted about it.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian's really pumping this one, isn't he? I mean, he really likes this one, doesn't he, Bark and Jack?
I think the steel one was 12,900 in the UK, and I think it's now 12,400 or 12,500. So not a huge amount, but it has dropped down since they launched the new one. So I think they're maybe beginning to get the message.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like the look of it. Okay, Todd, Seiko Todd, next up is yours. Is this naughty or nice list?
I gave you all nice.
Oh,
I'm just
And
a
all
nice
Seiko.
guy. That's a Seiko. So this is just the standard Seiko 5. This is the kind of the homage to the Time Sonar watches they came out with in the 70s. So you can see the wheels, the day and date wheel underneath it, kind of hiding kind of through the translucent dial, not exactly transparent. It's close. And it's a 4R36. It's the standard Seiko 5. They got a lot of bashing by Seiko fanboys when it first came out because it wasn't the SKX 007, right? It's not a true diver. It doesn't have the ISO rating. But to be honest, this movement hacks and hand winds. So, and it has a decent amount of water resistance. So, I mean, I've got it right here. I mean, I love just being able to do this without unscrewing the crown in order to wind it. And it is a fantastic beater watch. It's fantastic just to wear, just to throw it on. I like the colorways. I think Mark may have mentioned, or somebody else mentioned, the yellow green or kind of green version of this is really cool too. But anyhow, just a fantastic watch. I even like the Seiko Big Honkin' Seiko bracelet isn't bad. It is what it is. It's what I put the link I put is for Mark at Long Island Watch is selling it for $245, I think.
yeah, cool. No,
Yeah,
good pick.
can't go wrong.
Yeah, can't go wrong. Okay, Colby, you're up next. This is the. I thought when you sent this over, this was the Commander Bond one, but it isn't.
No, this is something that just came out a few months ago, and I haven't heard hardly anybody talking about it. There are very few videos on YouTube, but for me, I think this is the best Omega release this year. The thing that I like about it is, I love the pure white dial. I'm with you, Sam. I would prefer a date on it. But I couldn't help but buy it because this is the first Seamaster that has quick release end links on it, and the rubber strap has quick release as well. And so this is as far as I know, it's the only Seamaster that has this feature. And I haven't heard anybody talking about it, but I really love it enough that I went ahead and I bought one.
I thought about buying one, but it's very close to my 100 Days to Tokyo. So
Yeah.
I thought I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
they're
very
all,
nice watch.
all the new Seamaster releases, because they released a couple this month or last month, not certainly within the last 4 weeks, and a few dial colors, and they've got the quick release bracelet and the straps now as well.
Oh,
So I think this was the first one that had the quick release bracelet. There was a few before that had the quick release rubber straps on them.
But
this
weren't
is
they
first time
the
they've got bracelet.
ETNZ?
Yeah, there
from
was
a
that
year
one.
or so
and
ago?
there was a couple. They were all rubber strapped though,
Yeah.
and they had the quick release rubber strap. And this is, I think, the first time they've done it on the bracelet. And then there was in the last, certainly in the last few weeks, they've done a few. I think they've done like one Sedna Gold mix with steel or Sedna Gold mix with ceramic. I can't remember exactly, but they did that recently as well, and it's got the quick release on it.
Oh, that's really
It's
cool.
cool though.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've moved that to the Aquaterra, because they came out with that new Aquaterra a few days ago that looks really good too. I just haven't seen it in the flesh yet.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, my next one is, I put this on the naughty list, but this was, I bought the Kith Hoya, the yes. And to be honest, I'm glad that I reviewed it. I managed to get one from a tag store, and again, I think Mark, you were saying that the boutique. This was the boutique in Orlando. Again, really knowledgeable. They had 3 versions pre-release, and then I actually reserved this one. I liked it, but the only problem is it's tiny. It's so small. I wish they'd just gone to like a full proportioned watch with this. I gave it to my wife, but she wasn't feeling it either. I wish she had worn it. And this looks best on Brit Pears, doesn't it? Watch Gringo, because it's like a more women's size, I would say. And I guess it's on the naughty list because I wish I'd liked it more, because I probably would have worn it actually, but it's just too small for me.
I actually really like it, and I've definitely become more friendly to 35 to 37 millimeter than I certainly was in the past. I quite like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Too much hype though. Take the kith off
yeah.
it. Take the kith off it, and the classic ones. Then I'd buy into it more.
Yeah, they were taking the kith. I wish it had been I wish it had been 40 millimeters, to be quite honest, because I would have kept it. But it was in that small window where you had to like sell it quick before the hype kind of ran out, and I did. I mean, I actually sold it for what I bought it for. I didn't flip it for any more than that. I managed to get what I paid for it, which was good. Okay, so Dave, back round to you. Bamford.
Yeah. I actually really like what Bamford does. Not all of a lot of his watches, they're not my thing, but I like the fact that he's just able to push the boat out a little bit sometimes. So he's done this. This is the Neo Pro Solar. So again, very 70s sci-fi kind of driver style, digital inspired, but it's got a little solar panel on the top of it as well. So it kind of gets itself charged up. Just again, very Casquette-ish, but much more angular. Definitely looks like a mini Cybertruck on your wrist. And it's not expensive, if I remember rightly. It's about £600 or £700, something like that. So I just think, again, it was a really funky kind of looking one. I love the blue LEDs on it as well. Yeah, well, 582 quid, so it's not insane at all. I just thought it was a cool wee release that he did.
Is this one of his Bamford like own ones like this?
So he's got the 2 brands. He's got Bamford London, where that's his own brand, and he's got the other Bamford, which is where he collabs with a lot of brands and does like custom dials or piece uniques, etc. He's got a few funky watches that he's done. Most of them are this kind of style, like here.
Yeah, I like this.
But when he saw this one come up, I just thought that's a cool looking little watch for the money.
Yeah, I like his.
I don't know how I missed that one. I've never seen it before, so that's pretty cool.
It's a cool, as I say, for the money, it's a cool little watch. It falls more into the Seiko Citizen type category, and it's a wee bit funky.
Yeah, it's a very cool looking watch.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Mark, I'm on your nice list, I think now.
Yay!
Oh, Galdi.
Citizen Chronomaster. And just to show that I do actually own one, here it is in real life
You on
too.
solo? Yeah,
There you
beautiful.
go.
Hmm.
Wow.
These are great. And I will confess to being influenced by Jody of Just One More Watch, who always raves about his. I was lucky enough to go into the Citizen Boutique in New York in late March, and I was actually looking for a white dial one, but I wasn't as impressed with the white dial as I was with the blue. And they had 140 millimeter, which is the size that I bought, and it's titanium. It's lightweight. I've had it 9 months now, and it's still within a second of the correct time. It's a perpetual calendar. It's eco drive. It's a crazy good looking watch. And
Yeah.
it's light, it's comfortable, it's discreet. You can wear it as a dress watch. It's got 100 meters of water. There's nothing wrong with that watch. And if you closely look at the dial, you can see the paper texture. But if you're not closely looking at the dial, it's a sunray dial. It's for what you pay. In terms of value for money and style, etc. It's knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, the team at the Citizen Boutique, they added me to a Zoom call, and I thought it was going to be a group call talking about the next releases, the releases for Citizen for next year, but it was a one-on-one call. So they just basically took me through all of their, obviously they're all under embargo, but they took me through all of the models for next year, and there is some really cool stuff coming out. Citizen really dialing in a lot of the little things, certainly that I pointed out in reviews, but they're really working on a lot of the designs. But yeah, they said, which one do you want to review? And I was like, can I review the Citizen? They haven't got a press sample, but they're going to try and find me one, so I'm hoping that I can at least.
And it's about time that Citizen bought more of their really cool stuff that they seem to sell in Japan but not sell anywhere else. And there's some really cool stuff that they could bring along, and rather than having just 2 or 3 the Citizen Chronomasters in the back end of a store, just sell them, because once people are aware of them, I'm sure they'd be much more successful than they are now. You just have to know that they're there.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, Patrick, this is an interesting one. I'm interested if you've seen one of these in person.
Yes, I have. So this was actually an interesting watch that I found and saw, and I think it's so ungodly ugly, but it actually wears really well. And if you put me on the big screen, I can kind of try to show you the facets. Like, it's got all of these crazy, facets on the sapphire crystals. So I mean, it's chunky, but it's titanium, so it's super lightweight. It's an electronic watch, so you can actually plug it in like an Apple Watch. The charge lasts for a month. But what's really cool about it is, it's got a bright LED. If you click it twice, it'll tell you what the power reserve is. So looks like I need to charge it. We're at 40%. But it's got a chrono if you do it 3 times, and
That's cool.
Peck away. And I said, for $400, I get more comments on this watch when I wear it to work than any other watch in my collection. People are like, "What's that? That's cool." And then you show them, and you hear the little things go up and down. And as I said, people just love it. So, is it horology? Not really. It's pretty much a computer on your wrist, but I think it's pretty cool. And I was really pleasantly surprised enough that obviously I have one.
Yeah, they reached out to me a couple of times for a review, but I wasn't quite sure what the deal was with it. So
yeah, I said if they're still offering, I'd do it, because I think they're pretty cool.
Awesome. Might be ordering that one.
Dave's making notes. That's always a good sign.
Dave's ordering.
Okay, next up, Seiko Todd.
Yes. So we're gonna go with the Neo Vintage if we get to my last couple here. And so this is the Gerard Perregaux Ferrari. This is the 8020 chronograph. It's a 2892A2 ETA with a Devoir de Praz module on top. So if you look at on the side, you can see that the crown is lower than the pushers. But I think these are one of the best deals in, let's say, chronographs that are, let's say, 20 years old or so. It's just a really neat, it's a smaller one too. It goes to what Dave is saying. Like a 39 millimeter chronograph 38 is actually pretty good. It works for me too. And I got this one on auction, really a great deal. It's got a date SAM. So there you go. And it's just if you're trying to get into Gerard Farrago, it's a great way. There it is right there. It's a great way to do it. My iPhone can only do so much there, but it's a really neat watch.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking watch, isn't it? The car collabs have such a up and down reputation, don't they? That's a video in itself, isn't it? The car collabs,
right? And there's a lot of neat colorways. They've got red dials, they've got yellow dials, they've got yellow and black. I mean, and there's some limited edition ones that are more expensive. You can get a good one, I think, for less than 2,000 easily. Awesome. That's in good shape. If you get they made them in gold, so if you want a gold watch, you can spend a horrendous amount for it. But I think it's a neat neo-vintage ploy.
Excellent. Cool. Okay, so Colby, now to a brand that nobody's ever heard of, so I'm glad you put this on the list. Christopher Wall.
Well,
good choice, Colby.
Sorry again, Sam. This has been a watch that's on, and yes, I do have it here. This has been a watch that's been on.
Let's have a look, actually. Yeah, show us, because they asked me if I wanted to review one of these, but wow, okay.
It's beautiful. This has been on my list since it came out. I didn't snag it I think I just kind of missed the release when it came out. So I didn't snag it. It sold out. And then I've been trying to find one ever since. Weirdly, the Blue Marine Foundation one came back into stock after selling out. And I snagged that from the website, but then I realized that what I really wanted was the white version. And so I'm really glad I got it. To me, for what this is trying to do, it's basically a perfect watch. I love the bracelet. I love their in-house movement. I even love the way the movement is decorated, because I've never seen a movement decorated that way before. Not that I'm a connoisseur of hot horology movements. The AR is awesome. I mean, really, I think they nailed it with this watch. I wouldn't mind if this were a non-limited release. It's really top-notch in my opinion.
And as I recall, the dial texture is really subtle but very effective.
Yeah. Yep. It's the footprints of a leopard on snow is the idea, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
you have to look very close to see them, but once you notice them, they are. It's an amazing dial. I like that one.
And it gives a lot of depth. And the other thing, I really love the power reserve. I just think it gives it a lot of visual interest to the dial. So, I love the way that the date window is cut out too, that it's not just a square, but it's a flanged out rectangle. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just really in love with this watch. I didn't get it too long ago, so we're still in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, this is a sleeper, because I remember when they released it, I think it was they didn't sell out, did they, straight away? And I think they didn't do it any favors by saying this was like a leopard pattern on the dial, because I don't know whether that made people pause, but it definitely looks a lot more subtle when you were showing it on your camera then, and the flatness of the dial makes it look the dial look 2D, which I think I quite like the look of that.
I think for me that's one of the ones that got away, and there aren't many Christopher Wards that got away, but I think that one would count.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go to my nice list. This is you see me in the last couple of episodes, the Seiko SNE 593. I was going to the UK, a little bit of story time. I was going to the UK and I'm like, oh, should I take a nice watch with me? And I believed all the hype, all the watch crime ones, and I was going to London. So I was like, I'll just buy a quartz watch and take it. So I bought this just not on a whim. I did a little bit of research, but this is I wear this nearly every day now. It was just one of those like happy accidents where I was like, okay, I'll buy a affordable, cheap. No, well, it's not really cheap, to be honest. It's like $500, but I buy an affordable Seiko, and I just grew to absolutely love it. I just recently did a review on it. I've got it on one of those Watch Gecko knockoff ISO frame straps. But yeah, just a real happy pick up there for me. Okay, let's go right round to Dave. Oh, this is a good one, Dave.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is a brand that have, I guess, come into the public kind of sphere only really in the last year, maybe not even maybe quite a year. Micro Milspec, cool brand from Scandinavia. They have been on the go for many years, but they only made watches specifically for military units, and they've been doing that for a long, long time. And their watches are pretty nicely made, and they've decided after a lot of pestering from people to bring a few models out. And this model, this was their kind of public launch model, the Milgraph. It's an absolutely awesomely nicely made watch for the money. Just everything about it is cool. If you like tool watches, then this is a proper practical tool watch, and they've got some pretty solid provenance. They supply and have supplied a lot of interesting military units, and they've got, they've been used in heat, shall we say. So therefore, they know what they're doing with it. I just think this is a great looking watch. If you're after something that's a wee bit Tudorish to a certain extent, or a wee bit, it also looks a little bit, not design wise, but it's got that kind of feel of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The Vacheron Constantin Overseas Everest. It's got a wee bit of a vibe about that, but for considerably less money. Yeah, really cool wee watch.
I love this. I wish it had the date. I know I'm like a broken record, but I think it would be perfect. It would be perfect with the date.
I'm the opposite. I'm not a date. Dates I can give or take, but I just think it's a really nice, clean kind of chronograph watch with a left-hand drive on it as well.
Awesome. Okay, Mark, this is definitely on your nice list. The mighty Pro.
Yeah.
The mighty 75th anniversary Ploprof.
Yeah,
yes.
Beautiful.
I do have one. I think it was CT up in the chat earlier saying he missed who bought this one. I bought this one. When these came out, my local boutique just went, I don't think many of these are coming to the US. You'll never see one. And then they said, oh, we've got one. Do you want to see it? And whilst I didn't have the budget, I found the budget, and it's a cracker. I did take the Omega strap off mine because I did find that the strap wasn't very comfortable. So yes, I do have a $21 strap, silicone strap on it, but changing the strap made the watch extremely comfortable to wear. It is heavy. It is a Ploprof. It's not titanium, but the dial, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You can rhapsodize about the dial. Even my watch agnostic better half gets the dial. So, yeah.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. I have one as well, and it's a really solid issue.
Yeah, and I'd looked at Ploprofs before, never pulled the trigger, but that one you just go, gimme, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, cool. Patrick, this is going to be interesting. I don't know if this is on your naughty or nice list.
Oh,
Love it.
I love that.
As a man with a Dune popcorn bucket, there's no way that I can't have a Dune watch to go with it. So yeah, this is the completely overpriced quartz Hamilton Dune watch, but I knew the second I heard it was coming. And once again, look at that crystal. The crystal's the coolest part. I mean, from the pictures, you don't see all the weird cuts, but it's such a faceted crystal, and it's just really cool. And of course, its party trick is that you turn it on to get a nice bright light. What scared the hell out of me, because I'd never tried one of these on, was, is it going to fit my 6.5 plus wrist? And whatever angles are on the inside of that bracelet, it fits really well. So I know this watch has been around for a really long time. This is just sort of a different version of their classic Ventura, extra, extra large. But when a guy with a small wrist sees the word extra, extra large next to a watch, it usually scares me. And there's no trying before you buy. So all the rules of watchmaking I had to break to buy it. But I love it. And same deal. When I wear it to work, I get more comments of what the heck is that on your wrist? And then you get to have a good conversation with people. The only people who usually hate it are actually watch people who are like, you spent how much for what? So
Oh, it's worth every penny. Just ignore the watch people. That's worth every penny.
oh if you know my collection at all, you know that I don't really care what people think. I buy weird and oddball watches.
Oh, awesome.
Cool watch.
Cool.
Mhm.
Todd, Seiko Todd. Fortis.
Fortis. So this is another neo vintage black dial chronograph. I seem to be doing a theme this year. I don't know how that came to be, but I've been wanting one of these for a long time, and I wanted one of the first generation ones, which is the Lemania 5100 movement, and that's what this is. And it's an official one. So if you look at the back, it says official cosmonaut chronograph, and it's just super legible, great loom. I love the kind of Omega-like hand structure, what they're doing with the chronograph on it. It's a smaller one too. I think it's a 38 or 39. It fits my wrist really well. And if you keep a lookout, you can sometimes get these for a good deal. I was able to get one very, very reasonably on an auction that wasn't well attended. It has lockdown pushers, screw down crown, tritium dial for the originals. If you get a later one, it's a Value 7750 that followed it, but I wanted one of the early ones. Just a really kind of a cool watch.
Awesome. Great. Cool. Okay, so next pick. Oh, Colby, you've got it on your. You got it right there.
Yeah, the Accutron SpaceView 2020. I saw this watch and it just looked cool as heck. And I thought, I have to do whatever I have to own that watch. And by golly, I did. And I'm glad I did. It's so cool. It is interesting because the watch is kind of in a no man's land between dress and sports watch in a way. It doesn't really scream dress, but it doesn't really scream sports either. So I end up wearing it less than I like to, but man, every time I get it back on the wrist, I just look at those little whirling turbines and I think, dang, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Is it battery powered? It's battery powered, I guess.
It's electrostatic powered, so that it has a capacitor in it that stores an electrostatic charge, but it has a conventional rotor that winds the electrostatic charge and responds to the movements in your hand just like normal, and then it's quartz regulated.
So it's like a kinetic sort of.
A little bit to a certain extent. It took them 10 years of development to build the movement. It's a bit chunky. That's the only thing that I find is it's not slim on the wrist, but it's a cool watch. And like it's got a sleep mode on it. So the second hand, there's 3 turbines if I remember rightly. There's 2 that run there's the 2 at the bottom run the time, the hour hand and minute hand, and the big one runs the second hand. But to save power, the second hand, if you're not moving a lot, parks at 12 after so long. And if you basically raise your hand up and give it a wiggle, the second hand starts to run again. And if you take it off the wrist and it sits for a while, it kind of goes to sleep as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the second hand is driven independently from the hour and minute hand, which is run by conventional, I guess, stepper motor or whatever it runs that.
Yep.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. I thought it was super cool, but what you said is exactly the reason why I don't think I own it. It's a little too dressy. And the Evo version is sort of the sportier version, but it's huge and it doesn't fit my wrist. But if they made a smaller Evo version, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up on my nice list, I first year that I bought a Braemon. I'm not thinking that I would ever buy a Braemon in my life because I thought they were overpriced. But I managed to snag this one on a cruise ship. I still got it. It's behind me. I should have worn it really just to do a proof of life on it. But yeah, very pleasantly surprised. It's got so many flaws with it. Like the QC isn't great. The loom is just awful on it. The bracelet is so chunky for the size of the watch that it kind of overpowers the watch, but also it looks pretty cool on the bracelet. There's no micro adjust on the clasp either. There's so much wrong with it, but I think I quite like it because of all of those things. It's really wasn't expected to start the year owning a Braemon, but I ended up buying one, I think, around the March time on a cruise ship. And they had like a captive audience. And I did get I thought I got a really good deal on it, but then Hodinkee basically were fire sailing them for pennies on the dollar. And so I'm kind of stuck with it now because the Hodinkee killed the pre-owned market on them. But anyway. Okay. Dave, background to you. Isotope.
Yeah, another cool brand. These are a British brand. Again, they've been trudging away for a good number of years so far. Kind of the first early years, it was mostly jumping hour watches they did, which were big but funky but uninspiring. And then they got in their vibe with their kind of dive watches, and then they've got more and more kind of refined over the years. And these ones, the Mercury one, this happens to be the one they did a collab with Revolution magazine, but they've also got a non-collab version. But this one is the king of this model, where the whole dial is just polished. It literally looks like liquid mercury, the whole watch. It is exceptionally comfy to wear. It's a great size. It's a fantastically nice, sporty style dress watch. Hand wind movement. I loved it as soon as I saw it.
Because
I saw one of.
Isn't that the dial that has a little bit of a dome to it so that you don't actually get a reflection of yourself?
I was going to say, if you blinded anyone with it by accident.
Yeah, you could probably set fires with it. There's no two ways about it, but it's just, yeah. Although speaking with Jussi about it, he's like, I'm never ever doing a dial like that again. He said because he said, dust is not your friend with watches in general. See with that dial, dust is definitely not your friend.
Like when you try and wrap a car.
It was horrible. Yeah, they've got there's another version of it now. They call it, I can't remember what they call it actually, but it's the same, but it's got more of a kind of brushed, linear brush dial on it. That's a slightly satinized version, which is probably also more practical as a watch day to day. But actually, it's just such a, that's it there actually. Yeah, that's the kind of satinized version. He's done some really cool things like this Mars chrono as well that he did is excellent. The moonshot.
This one,
and he's got a few, there's the marquetry one. See this green one, the marquetry one, the green there as well. If you have a look at that, if you look at the dials, he's doing all different types of marquetry dials now as well, which is something you generally as a rule will only see in really high horology. But he's doing these kind of marquetry dials. Yeah, there's bit different stuff he's doing, but these are super cool.
Oh, awesome.
And again, not insanely expensive.
Cool. Okay, so then we've got Patrick.
This is the one that's going to make no friends amongst the crowd because I think Dave and Mark own this watch. Yes. But I was so disappointed because I love this watch. It has everything that I want in a watch. It's limited edition. It's fun looking. It's got some fun materials on it. But when I tried it on, it's so top heavy, I couldn't move forward. And so I was this close to buying it, but I couldn't do it. So this is I saw it, I felt it, I still love it, but I can't do it watch. And but I know I'm outnumbered because Mark and Dave, they love it.
I don't disagree with you, actually. It is a little bit top heavy, that is for sure. And the only other thing that I'm not a great fan of is it's got the little limited edition plaque on the side of the case, and that does irk me somewhat, it has to be said. But I can kind of live with it. The box is possibly also one of the coolest boxes you'll ever come across as well.
Absolutely, that box.
No, but it's got like a little hydraulic thing, so as it opens, it just goes and lifts up like a little space hatch. It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be modeled after a porthole on a ship, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, or a
It's-
submarine hatch. I think that kind of vibe about it.
I mean,
Okay.
when Omega do unique packaging, like
They
you've
do
got
it well.
on your Seamaster Colby, their unique packaging is very special. They don't really cut corners on it. I mean, you get the standard Omega coffin, but it's always fun to get the event linked watches just because you get the really cool packaging with them.
Yeah.
Well,
They learnt their
maybe
lesson in the 90s.
maybe if I saw the packaging, that might have sold me. And the part that I was surprised of, because my AD lost their Omega, and this had been sitting there for years, and they couldn't sell
Oh
it.
yeah, because it came out 2018. It was pretty
18 or
much
19.
timed with the original launch of this generation of Seamaster.
So-
They don't
so
sell
I-
very well.
So I was hoping for at least a little like, hey, why don't you just get it? But they didn't offer me any discount, anything. It didn't happen.
Wild. So we're nearly at time. Does anybody want to go a little bit longer for a few more, or should we save until next week?
I'm good.
I don't mind.
Okay. Let's just do. Okay, so Colby, you're actually. So we did all of your Seiko, Todd,
Mhm.
and then Colby, we'll finish with. You've got one. We got one more from Dave, and then Colby, you've got one on the nice list, and then two on the naughty list. So maybe we'll do your two naughties together.
Yeah.
But this is your nice list, I think.
Yeah, I love Erebus. I love Jody, and to me, Erebus represents everything that Swiss watch companies could and should do, but just don't give us the value that they should. So I think they're wonderfully designed. I've had the Origin 41 and the Erebus, the white enamel dial, and I really love both. I moved on from them, but I really, really enjoyed them. So I thought they were great releases.
Yeah. I mean that Zelos that I reviewed this week as well, he's really experimenting with some crazy dials. I did the meteorite dial, but he's got like Onyx and then Aventurine like on here as well. Cool. Okay, and then Dave, your IWC.
This is, I think, to be honest, is it perfect? No, but this is an exceptionally nice release. Something that a lot of folk probably didn't see, and this kind of is one of the things that I like about mechanical watches, and even the big companies can do it, which is they spent a huge amount of time and effort solving a problem that none of us, even in the next 1,000 lifetimes, will ever be problematic for us, but somebody took the effort to actually fix it, and kind of moving from the perpetual calendar to the eternal calendar is just exceptionally good. It is eye-wateringly expensive. It's a little bit too big in terms of physical size. And, there's the odd little bit here and there about it that I mean, have differently, but to be honest, it is just an exceptionally amazing piece. And I was really happy that they did win an award at GPHG, as much as that's that you could call it a flawed award ceremony in some respects, but they did deserve to win that, because this technically, and to be able to effectively industrialize this is pretty special, because normally stuff like this is super high end handmade stuff. So yeah, fair play to them. They actually knocked that one out the park with this watch.
This
How much is
one,
it?
this one Ivory Door, didn't it?
50 or 60,000, something in that neck of the woods.
Wow.
And this won the prize at GPHG.
It did, yeah. And I've been lucky enough to handle it for quite a while and wear it and stuff. But it's it's just it's such a cool watch. Again, zero about it makes sense for the price you're paying, but like things like 400-year wheels, like you're showing there, the fact, like, I think it's something insane, like I can't even remember, 100,000 years or something before something needs to get adjusted. It's all these kind of insane numbers that just have no real world relevance, but the fact that it does do it is, there you go, 45 million years.
So you have to return it for service sometime before that, I think.
Yeah, at least once.
I mean,
At least
very
once.
likely.
Cool. Okay, well then let's round this up with Colby. You had two on the naughty list, and I actually also agree that this, because I owned this watch and it was on my naughty list as well. This is the SPG.
So I have very mixed feelings about Grand Seiko. I love their dials, I love their movements, but I hate basically everything else. And I was all excited. I was all in on the high accuracy quartz, and they grow their own crystals. And there are craftsmen who just look after one crystal or whatever. No, they don't say that. But I got it, and the big two things to disappoint me were the bracelet. There are half links, but there's no micro adjust, no quick release end links. And then the anti-reflective coating I found was really terrible, which is really puzzling to me because Seiko's super clear coating that they have on some of their watches is, I think, the best AR that I've ever seen on a watch. And so it really frustrates me when watches with beautiful dials, which this has one, don't put great AR in their watches. There's also the issue of, it's derivative of the Rolex Explorer 2. That doesn't bother me as much, but yeah, I got this on wrist and I was disappointed. I thought it would be a great grab and go watch, but it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, I owned this. I bought that last year. I bought 3 Grand Seikos and ended the year with none. This was one of the 3. And Sunil, who's in our watch group, he has come on the show, but he said, he explained this as they are so perfect. They are like a clinical, like they're just like the perfect epitome of watchmaking. That in itself is a negative, and I kind of agree. Like, it's that uncanny valley, like the Polar Express with the perfect eyes. You need a little bit of. I think that's why I like the Braymont, because it has a little bit more. It's more flawed. It's not, it's not perfect. So that's kind of what. But you're right. The clasp was the clasp and the bracelet was not. I didn't love that either. Okay. And then final one is this one. This is an interesting one because they actually asked me to do a review of this. But what's the?
Yeah, I got this brand new in box. I got it at a discount. I was super intrigued. I was really intrigued by the bracelet tech, that the new kind of quick adjust that they had on their butterfly style bracelet. I mean, it looked like it was really interesting, but when I got it, and it's not bad, but when I got it, I just found the build quality wasn't what I had hoped. It was also too small on my wrist, which was a deal breaker for me, but really what I was disappointed in was the build quality. The quick adjust was fiddly. Parts weren't fitting very well. It just didn't seem to me like a really well-made watch. And so I was just super disappointed because I had such high hopes for it.
Yeah, I like the Art Deco dial. They asked me to review this at the time, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out, but that's interesting. Thomas, thank you so much for the very generous super chat. Very much appreciated. Awesome. Okay, did I miss any from anybody on the naughty or nice list?
I think so.
No, cool.
Nope.
Well, wow. Okay, so next week, everyone, we're doing a longer show. I'm doing a takeover with Tea and Tickers. Last year we did over 5 hours, so we'll see how we go. We're going to start earlier and then key this in. A big thanks to the panel. Happy holidays to everybody in the chat. And we'll see you next week for the bumper show. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Merry Christmas,
Christmas.
everybody.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.